Hello. Today we'll start with the boundary conditions or the setup module inside the ANSYS workbench. So in this module, we will apply some force, we'll apply some constraints, supports, etc. to our geometry. And then in the next part of our modeling or simulation, we'll find out what are the stresses, deformations, etc. strains in our geometry. So let's start with it. So what will be covered in this video will cover constraints, some different kinds of constraints which we have. We'll have displacement, velocity, acceleration. Then we have supports, different kinds of support such as fixed support, frictionless support, etc. Then in loads, we have ramp load, tabular load, or we can apply some function. Then we have non-linear boundary conditions. This is a very special case, and I think it's very important for you to understand where the non-linearity occurs, how to handle the non-linearity, and just have a perception of what the non-linearity in your model will affect. And we'll also look at what are the name selections. So let's start with it. So in the model file, when you go to model or setup or solution, all the three things will take you to the similar interface, which was ANSYS mechanical. This is because for ANSYS mechanical, all the things which are related to meshing, coordinate systems, boundary conditions or setup, and the solutions where you find out the stress, strains, etc., all are included in the same interface. While if you have taken a system which is fluid or fluid flow or fluent, then in that case, your post processing, which are the results or solution, can be viewed specifically in another module which has better options for you. You can have more uh, understanding of what your results will implement rather than just looking at your results, some vectors, some charts directly from your setup. So over there, a special processing module is available, but over here all the post processing can be done in the mechanical interface itself. So if you go to model and double click it, so what it will start is this window. So I have it over here. So let's understand the static structural part. Will not go into steady state thermal. Things are very much similar. Even in steady state thermal, things are much more simpler if you understand the heat transfer over there. In static structural, it's more easy for you to understand and relate it with things, because that's the same thing you would have studied in your 11 12 physics, because all the things which are related over here are solids, and you have done free body diagrams, force calculations, stress strain calculations on a solid body in your 11 12. So you understand and you can easily relate. Steady state thermal part you can easily relate if you have done heat transfer or thermodynamics course, and other things such as electrical module and other things are available, but you need some base. The base required for static structural you already have from your 11 12 basics. So let's start with this. So first we'll go to the constraints, which were three different constraints which I mentioned earlier. So if I click on the static structural, I have an option to import load. The steady state thermal loads are because those have been linked earlier. So that will not be the case for you if you have been working on single project. Now let's go to the insert where the loads related to static structural are given. So the constraints which we see over here are given. So there are displacement, remote displacement, acceleration, rotational velocity, rotational acceleration, and standard earth gravity. So what does this mean? It means that if you want to fix some displacement for some part, some edge, etc., you can use this type of options. So if I take an acceleration case, what it will give me, it will give me the geometry of all bodies, because there is only one body over here. Then I can define it by some vector or some components. What the components involved will have the x, y, and z, three different components. You can look at the coordinate system which is given to you, or you can make another coordinate system. So I'll make another video how to make a new coordinate system and how to edit the coordinate system as per your need. So for the given right now phase, for the acceleration, I can give the components, three different components, which are maybe 10 meters per second square. Then I can have 2 meters per second square, and Z component can have 50 meters per second square. So the important thing is it has automatically taken those things and as meter per second square. That is one point you should make note of. And another is ramp. That means at that point, when this excitation is applied, the boundary condition is applied, it will have a sharp increase in the excitation. If there is zero excitation before that step, which you can see in the tabular form over here in the tabular data, at the time step first, when the time was 0 second, all the excitation were 0. And immediately at the time step 1, that is a sharp increase. If you are moving on a straight line like that, at the time step 1, you will have the new excitation as that ramp function. That is a sharp increase. You can change that. So if you want to change that, that means you have introduced non-linearity, or there are other options also. So let's look at some other options. So I can put tabular form. What does that mean is I can have some tabular input of my data. How can I do it is this. In the tabular data, I can insert the values and I can increase the number of cells. So if I put it to over here, the new step has been taken into account. Automatically they have generated a new time, and I can change the X, Y, and Z component of excitation accordingly. So at time 0, I can have 0. At time 2, I can make X is equal to 10, Y is equal to still 0, Z is still 0. In the next time step, I can change and introduce Y, and Z can be still replaced with 0. Then in the third, I can change the Z component and bring it to 50. So now I have changed the individual components in one time step per time. So that's the activity you can do. That is non-linearity which you have introduced. Then the same thing should be incorporated over here in analysis setting. So because in excitation you have incorporated 3 time steps, but the step is still 1. So in the excitation setting, you should change the number of steps. So current step and time, and over here you need to control 3 and number of steps 3. So now it will incorporate the 3 different time steps and make settings as per that requirement. Then you have seen the displacement over here. So I have covered that part. Then let's go to support. So what are different kinds of supports we have? We have fixed support that will fix all the boundary conditions of that selected edge. So let's look at fixed support first. So if I look, fixed support is where I can fix a face, I can fix an edge. So I have selected an edge that is green now. Then I can select the complete body. So complete body cannot be selected because there is only one body. But here the options which are available to me, I can select a face, I can select an edge, I can select a vertex. I can select these 3 different kinds of entities. Let's select a face and apply. And the type is fixed support. That means all the boundary conditions, all the degrees of freedom are fixed for that. The different kinds of supports which we have are displacement. So I can select one of the face and apply it over there. And in here I have components and vector again. So I can normal to and components. Let's take components, and coordinate system is same as what we have defined, but it is just a new coordinate system has been shown to me. It's not made. It is just for my representation purpose to help me indicate that what the coordinate systems are in use. So the 3 components are free by default. I can make it 10, 1, 10, and 20. So it will force that pace to have this displacements at the given time step. And then you can play around with different supports such as remote displacement. What is the meaning of remote displacement is you first need to make a remote point, and then after making a remote point, you can apply a remote displacement. So a remote point is made after attaching some face or some geometrical part to a remote point. So how can you make a remote point is over here. You can make the remote point from the geometry. So it's not available to us right now. It has been frozen, but you can also use a remote point to define your displacement. Then you can have frictionless support. That means there is no friction between two faces. Then we can have frictional support also. So there are different kinds of support. Cylindrical support is there, where you, if some body is moving in a cylindrical phase, then the cylindrical support is taken into account. So either you can take the supports from there, or there is the drop down menu which is available to you. So remote displacement, velocity, impedance boundary, limit boundary, all the supports are available to you. Then the next is loads. So ramp, tabular, and functions. So let's look at a load. So these are the loads available to us: pressure, hydrostatic pressure, force, remote force. Again, remote force can be applied when we have made a remote point, and then we can apply a force at that point. And that force which is applied at the remote point will be distributed to the connected boundaries, connected faces, connected edges, etc. So that is dependent on the user, how you are going to connect that remote point to some boundaries. You select an edge and make the coupling between that edge and the remote point. Then we have a bearing load. So on a bearing we can have radial force, circumferential force, or axial force depending on the type of bearing. The bolt pretension means if there are some fasteners involved, we can apply that pretension which is being applied physically. That physical things can also be represented over here in the ANSYS. Then we can apply line pressure, we can apply moment. The thermal conditions are because the steady state thermal was involved. So these are the different kinds of loads we can use. The inertial conditions can also be involved, such as we can apply standard earth gravity. So if we want a non-inertial frame, inertial frame, that kind of options are also available to us. So these were the different kinds of supports we can make. And we'll end over here. The one important thing I want to show you is the name selection. So already I have some name selections made. And in the excitation, let's use displacement. So in the scoping method, that is the point on which the displacement will be applied. So over there I can also choose named selection. And in the name selection, if I have made some name selection, I'll have the drop down to choose which face or which body, which edge to apply that constraint. So phase 3 had already been named earlier, so I can just use this, and this is the phase 3. It has automatically selected it, name selection, and the components are as it is. So this kind of options are also available to us. So we'll stop over here. All the boundary conditions which I have explained, these are just random, and it may not apply perfectly to the current body. Currently we have a bolt, and such boundary conditions may not appear anytime in our bolt. So fixed support or acceleration will not be there in the bolt. So we'll stop over here. Thank you.